Okay, this is my third time trying this. I'm just trying to make sure that this is recording. Hello. And here we are in June. So this is the June podcast. And of course, I'm Tamara Childs. If you are seeing this on YouTube and you don't know me, I work with sensitive people. I do psychic readings and astrology to help people live a life they love. And you probably already know that if you're seeing this on my channel. Um, so I'm up here in the corner. Hello. I'm in my sun porch. It's sunny and beautiful, and my apple tree is blossoming, which makes me happy. And we're here to talk about June and do a quick June reading. Um, let's see. So I want to share with you, the first thing I want to share is we're entering June. We're working up to a lunar eclipse on Friday. So, of course, lunar eclipses are almost like a tidal wave of energy, and you feel the emotions. And we've been feeling this through last week. Look at the world. The world is full of energy, and it's interesting because Sagittarius rules what's out there, what's at the horizon, the world at large right now. And this is where the lunar eclipse is happening. So I think that's very significant. And it has so much to do with belief structures, what we deeply believe, what our philosophies are. Is life meeting our expectations and our dreams and our philosophies? So that's a really important part of what we're going through this week. So the other thing that's going on is that things are very tense and they're very changeable. And this is in the astrology as well, but I'm just going to use plain language to describe what we're coming into this first week of June. First this is happening, then it's that. It's changing all over the place. And this thing, I have to do this so that this will stop moving. There we go. And the metaphor that of course, I'm getting calls. Typical, very, very mutable energy. It's very much like the wind moving through the leaves and sifting through the leaves, and the leaves, it looks like there's a sandstorm or a leaf storm. And right now we are the leaves. And so we have to, while the storm is whipping through our spaces, we have to find a way to get grounded. And the way that we're going to get grounded is we are going to focus directly in front of us on what is going on in our neighborhoods, in our locales. We have to do some reality checks right now. Because there's such a storm going on in the world around, I believe this, no, I believe that. And the only way that so we're dealing with many worlds in one. Everybody has their world and their sphere of influence as well. So what we're dealing with right now in the world is a jumbled up thing of opinions and upset feelings and, passion. And remember that the root of the word passion has to do with pain. And we're seeing a lot of pain in the world. We're seeing a lot of, I think, I don't have it in front of me, but I think the root of passion is pain that is seeking an expression or seeking some kind of audience. So we're seeing a lot of passion right now in the world. So when you see a story in the news, and okay, I don't know how to turn that off. I'm getting maybe I turn it off this way. There. Oh, that was easy. So when you see a news story in the world right now, just check out if this belongs to you or how it belongs to you right here, right now in your neighborhood, and what you can do about it. what we see in the macrocosm, what we see in the world, is going to reflect on us in our personal lives. And we each have a part to play. We have a story that threads into that greater story. But the only thing we can do about it, we can't fret about what's over there. We have to bring it inside, and we have to ground it in what we're doing right now, the next conversation, what we're talking about with our neighbors. What It's a lot about dialogue, because we're in a Gemini space, and Gemini is opposite of Sagittarius. So there's this implosion and explosion of emotions around belief systems right now. And the balance to that is looking at what are the facts in front of me, or what are the facts that you're working with right now in your life, what's important to you to express and dialogue with others about. And that's where you should put your focus. The other thing is that, Gemini rules the hands and the local neighborhood, your local people. And so one way to create reality for yourself and to ground yourself is to do things, take care of daily details right now that help you to feel real and help how you create your world. We do this with our hands, right? So one thing you can do is garden, you can bake, you can work at a soup kitchen if you wish. You can create other things with your hands, but it's a lot about hands-on energy instead of kind of going up into this firestorm of reactionary energy. And we're seeing both in the world, right? We're seeing um, uh, apparently hired agitators and rioters, and some of them are just people doing their thing, and some came in out of nowhere into Minneapolis. And we're also seeing many, many, many amazing demonstrations of peaceful protest after the very highly publicized death of George Floyd in Minneapolis last week. His death was one of many, and there's a movement, a social movement going on right now, a cultural movement where people are coming together and they are helping each other with this process of the grieving. And what helps with the grieving is doing something. And so that's where in Louisville you saw the line of white women who were protecting the Black people behind them, and it's like we're seeing sheriffs and policemen going in and peacefully protesting with everyone else. And so there's a healing process that we're in, and all healing processes are messy. And, one way we want to do this is look at how you have your own little world. You who are watching, you have your own globe, your world inside of you. And that world, you govern that world. And you are in charge of what happens in the day-to-day actions of that world. And so celebrate that, because you ripple out and you are very important. And so, if you've been, this has been a roller coaster this past week for most of us. And if you've been just really emotional, it's very understandable. This has been a very emotional time for a lot of people. And so celebrate who you are, and that you're going to walk your way through this by trusting your own ability to have ripples come out, and that you are affecting those around you, and in your little world it will affect the greater world. So that's kind of my long-winded thing that I wanted to say. I'm going to draw us a couple of cards for June, because that's kind of what we do. And I'm trying to be extremely efficient with this and have, the ability to sort of say hi and be in the corner so that you can see me, but not have it be sort of this whole production. Okay, so let's see what we've got here. Let's see. All right. June. The Knight of Wands, the Ten of Wands. Interesting. Okay, those are interesting cards. Let me show you what I got here. So the Knight of Wands it's a card of this guy charging forward. See that? Can you see? He's a knight, he's fiery, and you know, any action is good action for him sometimes. And that kind of reminds me of some of the rioting and the craziness and everybody entering the fray and like chickens without their heads, right? This is a signal that there is a passionate energy that we are dealing with, and it's in the world. So it's like a firestorm, right? But it's in emotions. And so just be aware of how you are entering discussions, how you are doing things. You can let yourself enjoy. You can enjoy a fiery energy through yourself. And also point it in directions that are really going to serve you right now, rather than just getting all hot-headed, because this is kind of a hothead card. He's kind of a little excitable. Can you see there? And so this is about just being aware of where your energy is going this month, because there's going to be a lot of energy you're going to see also with other people getting all riled up and excited. And so it's like two messages: enjoy the excitement, get excited, but just use it to fuel things that you want to be constructive about. Does that make sense? The next one is the Ten of Wands. This is a card of overload, energy overload. We get this card when we are carrying a burden, and it tends to be fairly oppressive. See, it's has to do with oppressions that we take on, and it's an energetic oppression. It's a feeling of being burdened or having too much going on. This is actually Saturn and Sagittarius. And so again, I feel like what the guides are telling me is we need to be judicious and aware of what we are burdening ourselves with. Like, are we just doing it for martyrdom? Are we just, oh, I just feel so burdened. I can't feel happy right now. I can't focus on anything else while there's pain present. Be aware of picking up on, because I always speak to empaths, be aware of an energy of burden in the world, or an energy of overexcitability in the world, and how you may be like taking that on without really assessing, is that really my energy? Am I really going somewhere with this? Now, the third card I got is, in this deck, it's called Pleasure. It's the Six of Cups, and this is a heart card. It's an emotion card. And sometimes this has to do with wanting things to go back to the way they used to be, kind of being nostalgic and wanting, and the part of you that wants that, look at that part. That part's going to be a young part. That's going to be like a child energy. That's going to be a part of you that's, just wanting a hug, and wanting your dolls and your toys to play with, and wanting things to feel simpler and sweeter. And sometimes when we're looking at really big changes in the world and the culture at large, we long for, a part of us longs for, it's sort of the Norman Rockwell idea. Like, we just long for things to settle down and go back to making us feel good. I feel like we need one more card, because this feels very unfinished to me. So there's a little bit of idealism. It's like emotional idealism. It's like nostalgia. It's that feeling of, well, it was so nice when things were just simpler and they were this way for me. And you can draw from that. I think we get this card when we need to be comforted. So if you need comfort this month, do some things for that little inner kid, that inner little kid, and let that person know, you're not going anywhere. No matter how many changes sweep through the world, you're going to be taking care of that person. Okay, and the last one I'm going to draw here is the Queen of Swords. Now she's up high, she's in the sky, and she's up in the sky because she is able to really distill information, separate one thing from another, and she's got that sword. She can cut all of the unnecessary or trivial stuff away and get down to the truth. And so this is a card that this month we're going to be really looking at our personal truth and how it creates our reality. So that's a loaded statement, isn't it? But one of your tasks this month is to get on the right side with your own truth. What do you really, it's not just believe, because beliefs can be given to us without us really discerning if they're true or not for us, if that makes sense. We can be taught beliefs that are not necessarily true. And there are a lot of things that are going to be changing with this lunar eclipse because the lunar energy is that the unconscious, and Sagittarius is belief. So what have we unconsciously believed and been riding on this assumption with, and how do we need to kind of create a distillation process with that? How do we need to sort of separate this from that, what is actually happening now, and get everything into an update into present time? I think that's what we're dealing with this month, is bringing things into present time, letting go of old beliefs. That we say that all the time, but really with this lunar eclipse in Sag, it really is, what have we unconsciously held as true that is no longer true, and where do we need to go from here? What is the most productive and compassionate forward movement that we can take? I feel like this reading, I would have loved of course to have it be like pulling perfect clarity out of a hat, rabbit out of a hat, but that's not really what we're looking at right now. We're looking at a cultural healing process and a lot of change in our world that's going to continue forward. This is just the beginning. And so our job is really to take care of our worlds and how we behave as the ruler inside of our own worlds. So I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you so much for watching. I do have a lot of new blogs that are relevant to this week and the next week. So I'm going to post a link below to that. And if you would like to have a reading with me, I will also post a link so that you can get in touch for that. This is a wonderful time to have me look at your chart or just do a clearing or a reading on what's coming up for you right now and where you need to focus. So I'm sending you my love, and have a wonderful month of June. Do take care of yourself, and I will see you next month.